So the topic today in this call is how to approach people for portraits. And I want to broaden the topic a little bit. I want to talk about just how to take photos of people as a street photographer. So there are basically two methods to this. You can either ask people directly to take your portraits or secretively. And I want to show you some different techniques on how you can take photos of them. So let's talk first about secretive. Some of you might know Gary Winogrand, for example. He has a method where he plays around with his camera and basically acts like he doesn't know what he's doing. So he's like fidgeting with his camera, doesn't know where the controls are, then looks at the camera like this, goes like this, and then sets the focus maybe, then looks behind, takes the photo, and goes his way. So that's one idea on how you can do it. There's a second method, and it's a bit easier in my opinion, because when you do the Winogrand method, you have to be very quick and you have to act a lot. So it's hard to get the perfect composition, at least in my opinion. So the second method is the look behind the person you're photographing method, basically. So you look in the direction of the person that you want to photograph, like this, take the photo, and then look behind them. So as I'm not looking at the camera right now, it looks like I'm just looking behind you. Okay, there's a cool building. Let's take another photo. Bam. That's it. And then you walk past them. So it's like taking the photo, looking past them, and then going past your subject, for example. That's one way to do it. Another example is if you have your second eye open and then just look at somewhere else while still looking through the viewfinder to have your composition, and then take the photo. A bit harder to do, you need to train it a little bit, but that's definitely also something you can do. I also know a lot of photographers that just try to photograph from the hip. So they are set the focus on their focus scale up on the camera. Then they work forward to a preferred distance and just take the photo from the hip. That's a bit easier when you have a top-down viewfinder, but of course you can't really change your composition while doing that. It's easier with digital cameras because you can have the flip-out screen and then look at it better, but it's quite obvious most of the time, depending how good you are. And some people are just taking photos like this. So they are just like this, and they go up there, have zone focusing, do the phone focusing technique, and then just take the photo like this. And it might be a bit crooked, the horizon, or just a bit screwed, but that's their style. So those are basically the things you can do when you want to take secret photos. Secret. With a loud camera like the Nikon F here, it's a bit harder to do secret. It's easier to do it with silent mode, for example, with the mirrorless cameras nowadays. But yeah, that's one way. The other way is just approach the people and ask them. Only problem with this is that you don't have candid moments. So the people know that they are photographed, so they sometimes put on a specific expression. And you really have to balance or get experience on what you want to do with your subject. Sometimes it's better to ask them and have a staged photo, and sometimes it's better to just take the photo in secret. Or tell them afterwards, or show them afterwards. But it's definitely easier to do the secret method, I would say, because it takes less courage, I guess. but I got some of my best portraits when I just asked them and took a quick photo without them really thinking about that they are in front of a camera right now. A lot of people get nervous, especially in Middle Europe and USA, for example. In the Middle Eastern, they sometimes feel flattered when you ask them if you can take the portraits, and they don't put up the fake smile. That's just something very Western, I would say. Western countries often just put up a smile, a facade, and then the image is ruined, or the portrait most of the time. And in Eastern countries or Southern countries, it's there's less of a facade when looking at a camera. So that's something you might need to keep in mind. And once you decided to just approach them and ask them if you can take a portrait, what's the best way to do it? Well, I found it easiest if I have one thing that they are wearing, or the hair color or the eye color, one thing that really stands out to me that I want to compliment them on. So the best icebreaker, in my opinion, is just to give them a compliment. Hey, you have very cool hair. Can I just take a quick portrait of you? Or, excuse me, can I take a quick portrait of you? I think your hair looks so cool. Or your eyes are just amazing and I just want to capture it. And most of the time, that's all right. In Austria, people are a bit grumpy, so they often say no. But in the USA or Germany, France, most of them are okay with that. And then just be quick. I mean, you already know what you want to do. You probably have a fixed lens on there, or maybe a zoom lens, but just take 1 or 2 photos and then that's it, because most people don't want to bother too long. When I first had a raw reflex camera, I wanted to do a portrait and it took me about 2 minutes, and the person was very annoyed at the end because it just took so long, and then the portrait was basically ruined. So yeah, don't give them much time to think about it. Take the photo, show them afterwards if they want to, and then you can send it to them if they want to give their contact. Or actually most people just say, yeah, nice photo, and then go their way. So easiest, as I said, compliment and then just take the photo. A lot of people also ask why you would take the photo, or why do you want to take the photo, or what's it used for. And it's best to have at least a motive. So you might want to capture the people from Vienna, or you are working on a series for people over 30. Okay, maybe think about that. What age range you want to do, or people with cool beards or whatever. So you should have at least a small reason on why you want to photograph them. And that's mostly okay with them if they already said yes to taking the portrait. I also just thought about another method, and I would call it the Eduardo Ortiz method, because I've seen it with him. There might be a lot of other people using that method, but it's just being blankly obvious when taking your photos. So most of the time he has a pretty wide angle lens on his camera. I think it's a 28, 24, or at least 35 millimeter lens. And he just goes up to people as if nothing was going on, and then has them in the corner here or there, and then just takes the photo with some environment in the background. And it's crazy how confident he seems, and people just ignore him or treat him like a fly on the wall. And it's just so authentic of him going up to someone or a scene and just taking the photo. Just full confidence. And people feel when you don't want to harm them. It's a weird thing. If you're very secretive, like Winogrand, sneaking up on them or hiding behind your mic, taking the photo, people feel that. And it does not feel good. If you're just confident and obvious. I think that's the easiest thing to do it, but it takes a lot of courage, of course. I've seen a cool Instagram video about that. I might be able to show that somewhere. But yeah, so let's call it 3 methods. First of all, the winograd method, or the I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm not photographing you, the secret method. Second one is just being blandly obvious and talking with your subject and asking them for a portrait. And the third one is just having a lot of confidence. So yeah, I hope that helped a little bit, especially some tricks with the secretive methods. But yeah, have a motive. That's the first thing, because some people might ask you to delete your photo, and it's easiest to explain them if you have a specific series in mind or motive on why you took the photo. And then just be confident. That's another thing. It just feels better for everyone involved. Yeah, I hope that helped. Have a nice evening.